about loving mothers and appreciating it. And I looked at it a little different. In my years of ministry and studying ministry and spirituality, I've always noticed that the church pews in whatever denomination always had more folks that were ladies rather than men. And I thought, well, how is this? And I think I've always thought that I believe that, and this is a generalization, but I've always believed that women seem to have a greater awareness of the unseen, the energies. And I think a lot of that might come from that maternal instinct, or that being mothers, or having this feminine drive of knowing and understanding that the unseen exists. And I demonstrated that, how I figured that out. 1967, I think. I was an aircraft loadmaster during the Vietnam War. I loaded C-130 aircrafts with either troops or equipment and airdropped them or delivered them all over the world. And my folks were very worried about the Vietnam War, so I made it a point never to tell my folks when I went to Vietnam. I was never stationed there. My particular outfit did 6-week rotations. We'd spend 6 weeks in Panama doing the South America and Central America, 6 weeks in Mildenhall, England, doing Europe, 6 weeks flying support for the Air Force Thunderbirds. We carried their maintenance team, and 6 weeks in Vietnam, and then 6 weeks maybe at training over at Pope Air Force Base. So our mail, when we went on these 6-week rotations, was delivered once a week to the people that were coming in on the rotation that week, and our outgoing mail went back. And it went to our normal post office box at Topeka, Kansas, and then was delivered to us. And I never told my folks I was in Vietnam because I didn't want them to ever worry. So my first week that I was there, I got my thing. And I had just come back from a little fire base called Tuiwa. And I brought back body bags. And just black bags that weren't big body bags, with just parts. And I had such an awareness of the hideousness of war. And it was pretty, I mean, my life of hideous up to that point was when I ran my bicycle into the 5 and Dime in North Canton and hurt myself. It just, I hadn't seen hideous. And I was quite shocked. And here's a letter from my mother, who didn't know I was there. She said, in war, we will see things, the worst in humanity, the hideousness, and our only hope is to concentrate and focus on the goodness of humanity. Mothers know. Fathers know too, but mothers really know. And I think all of us can know if we just choose to be aware. Listen to the unseen. Listen to your heart. Listen to your gut. Spirit talks to us all the time. That's why Mother's Day is special to me. And so it is.
Thank you, Patrick. Kind of carrying on with what Patrick just shared. I don't know if you'll make this connection that's in my head at the moment, but we seem to live in a world that is getting more and more stretched. A thought ran through my head the other day, the truth is never black and white. But it just seems that the world that we live in wants to either be black or white. And the more we are forced to contemplate or to accept extremes, the harder it is to make sense of things. There's a word that I not dwell on, but it comes to mind a lot. It's paradox. It's a concept, a word, a meaning that really helped me to begin to make sense and find peace, truth, and balance in a story that Patrick just shared with us. How do we make sense of suffering and love at the same time? Paradox is something that deconstructs our dualistic concept of truth. We understand that it's not black or white. Our faith is fluid. My faith, your faith, it can't grow and be stagnant. It can't grow and be rigid. It can't be black and it can't be white. It's got to be flexible. It's got to bend. It's got to break at times and heal. It's the process. Faith is fluid, and paradox can be challenging to those who want their faith to be easy to control. We gather here at Church of the Oaks largely because we have all at various times in our life come to a point where we have realized that we need space to move. Our soul needs space to wander, to explore. And Church of the Oaks is an environment that gives us the freedom to do that. It's not about agreeing with each other. I'm sure that if we were all surveyed, we would all come up with various opinions on any given topic, and that's not about it. We have to agree. We're all in that process of growing and becoming aware of spirit in our lives. I'll just share a couple of paradoxes just to give you a refresher maybe, and some of these you might relate to. I have a whole bunch of them. I've just circled a few just to read right now. People who can't trust can't be trusted. The more you try to impress people, the less impressed they'll be. The more you fail, the more you're likely to succeed. The more you learn, the more you realize how little you know. The more you're afraid to fail, the more likely you are to fail. The more available something is, the less you want it. The more honest you are about your faults, the more people will think that you're perfect. The more you try to argue with someone, the less likely you are to convince them of your perspective. The only certainty is that nothing is ever certain, and the only constant is change. Paradox is the first cousin to the most religious of all words, orthodox. The prefix ortho means right or correct, and the prefix para means alongside or beside. And these two words are linked by the root word dox, which can mean opinion or teaching, as in doctrine or praise. Some of us would recall the word doxology. Both the praise and teaching sense of dox points to God or Spirit, in whom we praise and where we learn. Meanwhile, paradox, which doesn't negate orthodoxy, but rather exists alongside it, represents the breathing room in which the ongoing guidance of the Spirit takes place. Just some food for thought. Thank you.
Dick, thank you very much. Well, good morning, everyone. I think I ordered a beautiful day for today. We'll see if that comes to pass or not. Dick, I should have said while you were up here, why don't you just go ahead and talk about some announcements, perhaps?
Oh, I can do that.
You can do that? All right.
Okay. Just the announcements that I have here. I don't know if I need to remind you ladies, but I'm sure you're aware. But Spiritual Book Discussion Circle is coming up this week at 10 a.m. at Valley Village. One major announcement that I would like to make is the Catherine Stewart's Memorial, which is Saturday the 23rd. It will be from 11 to 3, and it's just a celebration of life. And again, that there's a lot of opportunity there and a lot to be shared. And so I encourage each one of us to try to make that on your schedule. Our last Sunday of the month, we have a guest speaker. Jet Howell will be speaking, and she has a very unique ministry service in Sonoma County, and you will be impressed and very interested in what she has to say. We are also planning that it's going to be a sunny day, I'm hoping, but I'd like to do a church barbecue, hamburgers, hot dogs, veggie burgers, and if the weather is nice and sunny, instead of having our potluck inside, we can have it outside on the grass under the trees. So just a little twist in our fellowship time at the end of the month. And again, our guest speaker will be Jet Howell on that Sunday. Something to look forward to. So.
One other thing, would you talk about your vision of pictures and plots and people and the plot thing? Talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, adopt a plot. I have noticed that some of you have been really doing great work in your areas. One area is out in front, and Randy has been doing a tremendous amount of work. And I asked him this morning at our board meeting. I asked him if it would be okay for me to get a picture of him in front of his plot. I know, Brenda, you started to do some work out in the corner, and can only encourage you to continue on that because it has really greatly improved that area. And I've just thought about having pictures of those of you that are taking a plot. And there's paper on the back with the plots around the church. They're all numbered. And if you see what someone is doing and it's like, boy, that's really making a difference, if you would like to take one of those plots your own and just say, hey, I'll take this area. Ultimately, we all work together to make them look good. But to have someone who gives specific attention to those areas, Janet also has dedicated her life to the, not totally her life, but if you talk to her, she's very impassioned about this, and she's putting a lot into it. But the plots here right around, and I don't have them in front of me, but right along the church and in front between the two buildings. So It does make a huge difference when we all participate. It just takes a little bit of participation. Um, we are not doing all church work days this year like we tried last year. And, some days we would have enough people to get a lot of work done, and then other days we didn't. So we're going with this approach this year, and so far it's working really well. And just encourage you to look it over, and if it's not something you can do consistently, join in with somebody who's got an area that they're working on and help them, and make it look good. And for all that's being done, we thank you.
Thank you, Dick. We all know folks who are going through challenge, some dark times, some tough times. Maybe they're having money problems, maybe relationship problems, maybe some health issues. Nothing different than every one of us in this room has gone through many times in this thing we call life. So I'm going to ask that we speak some names out loud to kind of put a name with the energy that we're going to send out to those people. The energy of maybe some courage, or just let them know that they aren't forgotten, that there is hope, there is courage, there is forgiveness, there's love, there's possibility. So if we would speak those names out now.
Bonnie, Ellie, Ron, Gene, Kendra, Sarah, John, Joyce.
We've heard these names, and there are many others as well. So let's just be quiet inside, and maybe we could just picture this soul that's inside of us, this nucleus, this energy, however you want to picture it. And just picture it going out into the universe and sharing your love, your energy, your acceptance, and your courage. We here at Church of the Oak strive to share our time, our talent, our thought, and our treasure. And the most valuable treasure we have is our own divinity. It's forever and ever increased. And so it is. I would like to share with you something that Dick talked about it in his many messages this morning about perfection. I have always been convinced I've been pretty close to as perfection as you can get. But I found out if you look at your order of service, there's a line right under my name between the last song, Family of Love. Interesting how that came about. I chose a last song this week, and then I typed up the order of service, and I emailed it to Wayne, and he told me that my choice could have been better, he thought, in his opinion. And I reread the lyrics, and he told me that the notes were very boring and slow. And I agreed with Wayne that my choice was not so good. So he said, well, just change it. So we chose that one. The only trouble is my computer does not any longer talk to my printer. My printer will print as a copier. So Dick had printed out the order of service as I had first sent it out, so I could use it as a copy and make copies of the order of service. But it had the old song on it. So being the clever one, I cut a Family of Love out of an old order of service, and I taped it. I thought it was a seamless, nobody will ever know. But Evidently, the tape left a mark, so you all know, and I just let you know that in spite of my tries and my own assumption, I am definitely not perfect, just so you know.
Sure.
All right, we got that over with. Am I gonna mess this up again?
Yeah, you're trying.
I'm trying.
I feel wonderful.
Are we going to sing song
I
now?
think we should sing I Feel Wonderful.
Whatever you think, Maestro, let's kick her off.
343.
Stand up.
On your way.
Just now we have the wonderful opportunity to greet each other in traditional Church of the Oaks fashion.
She's out at the park playing a lot with her friend.
Hi, Jamie.
How are you?
How are you doing?
Yes, nice to see you. Good weekend. Yeah, I think she's good today. How are you this morning? Are you? Oh, I'm doing great, sir. I hear you right. I need it right. That's what I needed. And I had one.
Oh, okay, good.
I got home trained. They were trained.
Yeah.
I got to go for beautiful walks.
Good,
Beautiful skateboard.
good.
Hills over there.
How do we feel? Did everybody get their full capacity of other people's energies? Of all being part of our family here? It's an amazing feeling. And it's just quite a gift for all of us. Our abundance is just what I spoke of a little while ago. It's our time, our talent, our thought, and our treasure, and our divinity that we share with each other, who we are, what we are. We are just all together. We're just molecules in a big family of humanity and life. and universe. Let's read together our affirmation of abundance, may we? A consciousness of abundance is knowing that there's always enough, always, and so it is. May we ponder that wisdom, Sarah. Thank you, Wayne. As we prepare for our meditation together today, let's sing together, I Clothe Myself Safely Round, number 66 in the Wings of Song. Someone suggested to me, Janet, that it was time that we ought to do our heart-brain coherence exercise meditation again. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, but as I'm doing that, think about your breathing and just kind of slow it down and quiet down things and just kind of think about this exercise we're going to do. We're going to get very still and very quiet, and we're going to allow our heart to take over our brain. We're going to allow our hearts to actually have communication at 0.1 gigahertz with our brain. And when that occurs, and we send this message of peace and comfort and love and caring and appreciation from our hearts to our brains stop creating stress hormones. All the stuff that creates commotion and chaos in our bodies. And it creates the good hormones, the dopamine, and the things that actually create healing and feeling good. And after we do this exercise, if we spend about 5 minutes doing it, that chemical change lasts for about 6 hours. And it is actually healthy. You actually feel better. You feel more at peace. So how about a couple of deep breaths? Deep in, deep out. Clear all that air out. And then I'm going to ask you to cross your arms and put your hands on your heart center. And concentrate. Be aware of your heart. Feel it beating. Slow your breath down as slow as you can be, like nothing in the world is wrong. And nothing in this room, this moment, is wrong. Everything is safe. We are surrounded by spirit. We're surrounded by love of each other. And allow your heart and your body to feel love or gratitude. Don't think about it. Just feel it. Feel the love that you have for anything or anyone. Or feel the gratitude for anyone or anything in your life. Maybe it's just gratitude for this experience Sunday after Sunday. Just feel that. Knowing that your heart is sending that vibration, that frequency of safety, of love, of gratitude to your brain. Those two feelings are stronger than any chaos your brain can create. Feel love. Feel gratitude. You may repeat this as often as you wish. Sitting on the couch at your house, right after you parked your car before you go into the store, maybe the last thing in the evening. Maybe you can feel that gratitude for another day where things went well for you, where you had the pleasure and the opportunity to share with someone else, where you were reminded yourself again of the love that you have for those in your life and the appreciation for who and what you are. You are a divine being. Let's take a couple more deep breaths. Leave your hands where they are, or put them back in your lap. And just know that what we just did made each of us and each other, individually and collectively, healthier and more at peace inside. And so it is. Thank you, Wayne. How many of us here, I'm not going to ask that question. I've been thinking about this spiritual journey that I've been on, and all of us have evidently been on for a long time. And I've gone to the seminars, and I've read the books, I've watched the videos, and I find that my journey is different. It's unique, as all of our journeys are, but sometimes I feel like maybe I'm not doing it wrong, or I'm not fitting in. Somebody talked about awakening the other day, and I thought I could talk about that, but not like maybe everybody else does. If you go on YouTube, you look, there are 475 lectures about awakening. There's books, thousands of books about the keys to awaken. And Jung, J-U-N-G, what's his first name? Carl. He said, there are 10 steps to awakening. Well, he was a brilliant man and had a lot of things going, but I'm not sure you can call it 10 steps for awakening. I'm not sure that there is a grand awakening where you wake up and you're in nirvana or something. I don't know of too many people that have cited that. But I've had in my life, in my journey, hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of awakenings, where all of a sudden I became aware of something I wasn't aware of. And in that discovery of something that I hadn't known or hadn't been aware of before, I found an understanding of a little bitty more piece of the mystery, of the unknown. And another thing that I've discovered is one of the quotes here. It says that ego and awareness cannot coexist. And all of the great masters said, well, you got to kill the ego. The ego has to die. Maybe my ego's a cat, because it sure seems like it's got a lot of lives. I've tried to kill it 1,000 times, and I do pretty good. I can be pretty selfless and pretty humble and pretty aware of things until somebody gives me a less than complimentary statement, or gives me a compliment and then my head gets this big. That ego, I think, as long as the humans breathe air, I think we have it. Controlling it, I think, is a key thing that we can work on. But I know I have tried to live my life pretty much in service. And you can't be in service with a huge ego. It doesn't work out well. And when you're serving, you're not aware of the ego. It seems like it has to go in the back seat and stay there. And if I have to stop this car, there's going to be pain. But I don't think I'm too much different than anybody else. Maybe other people share if you have a different thought about it. But I think we can learn ego control, and we can keep it in the back seat a lot of times. And the more we have an awareness of what's going on in our community, what's going on in my heart, what's going on with my health, what's going on with my friends. As long as we can keep that kind of awareness going, we can make this all right. We are available to become aware of new things, to have little awakenings. I've had a couple this week that are just amazing. And I'm so excited about something new is coming into my life and into our world. And it's just amazing. But I think if all of us, we don't have to feel less than or unable to voyage, this spiritual path we're on, because we find that we have an ego. All of us do. I think controlling it is an important task that we can set about. And the more we can do that, the more our life is enriched. When we pay attention to others, when we truly listen. I had a meeting this week that I wanted to do 10% or 20% of the talking. I really wanted to listen. And when I look back after that meeting, I did 80% of the talking. I was so disappointed in me. I had such a chance to learn things. And it wasn't a bad meeting, but be more aware, Pat. Be aware of where you're at, what you're doing, what you're saying. Are you just talking to hear your mouth run, or are you listening to people and feel what they're offering to share with you? You can learn some amazing things if you truly listen. I'm listening, but I didn't hear you. I told the folks at the board meeting this morning, I saw this guy who was standing there. Oh, I'm so upset. I said, why? He said, I wish I'd have paid attention to what my wife said. I said, well, what'd she say? He said, I don't know. That's why I'm so upset. I wasn't listening. I think all of us can listen more. But in our day-to-day lives, we have experiences that we did not plan on. When you get in the car, you go down the street, you can't go a block without experiencing something if you're being aware that you haven't experienced before. And in that moment of awareness, you have an opportunity to wake up. When you see someone, Vivian and Kelly are two of the greatest conversationalists I've ever run into. They just have a way, they devote their entire attention to you when they're speaking with you. And they ask questions. And they're wonderful conversation, and they listen to what you have to say. And most of us are just hell-bent on saying what we came to say. And we'd learn so much more if we listened. So I'm sharing with you my experience. And I'd ask you to maybe look at your experiences on this spiritual journey that every one of us is on. There seems to be a lot of mush, shoulds, and oughts in this journey that all the great authors and smart people, well, you got to do this. You have to meditate 20 minutes a day. You have to do this. That hasn't worked for me that way. It's all good information, and I do meditate. And I do try to improve my awareness all the time. But I don't know, we are all so ingrained in the physical, our culture. We've been trained and brainwashed and conditioned to accept this and do this, and you have to say this, and you got to go here, and you got to be here, and you got to say this. The real freedom that this spiritual journey allows us is to step out of those must, shoulds, and oughts and become aware of what's going on and see something that we didn't see or know about before, and use that to begin to understand the unseen, understand people better. Because we're all very much alike. We're all unique, but we're all got all these things that people have. We all have an ego. We all have temper. We all have love. We all have acceptance, and we all have anger. We all have judgment. We all have all these things that human beings come with. Some came from the factory, and others have been established and we've been trained to have. Most of the nasty ones we've been trained to have. The only way to get past that is to just open your eyes and listen and look and be aware of something you may not have known before, or be aware of what's really going on in our community. What's really going on with my relationship? What's really going on with my job? And I hope that you can find the same thing that I have, is that my journey is all over. And I have good days and bad ways, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, up and down. But the taste of that awakening moment, however many thousands there are, oh, it's addictive. It's so freeing. It makes you realize how amazing this life experience can be. It makes you look back on your life and look back at your experience. Wow, if I'd have just shut up and listened while I was busy talking, I could have learned this 10 years ago. It's never too late, not till our last breath, to have an awakening experience. And the more of them you have, the greater your life will be. And that's been my experience. I don't know, but other people must think so too, or they wouldn't take the time to write all these books and do all these lectures and do all these videos. They're not wrong. They're sharing their viewpoints. And they're all of those views about awareness and awakening and controlling our egos. They're all worthwhile. And they all do what we come here to do, and that's to enrich our lives. So I'm going to end there today. There's all kinds of Mother's Day stuff going on. We have to sing our song. We got coffee and donuts and cookies in the other room. So I wish all of you awakening experiences. Seek out the opportunities to expand your awareness and give thanks and feel gratitude for what you learned today, to what you learn tomorrow, to new feelings that you haven't had before. They can be quite amazing. And so it is. Let's sing our favorite family song, A Family of Love. I think it's number 210. And that's the song with the line over top of it.
Family of love.
It was
Love you,
second
Wayne.
to
Have
last
a great
song you
day.
played.
Tell Miss Nancy I said I love her too, please.
When you did it. I love that too.